Friends, I welcome you to my channel. Before listening to this story, I will ask you to like and subscribe. It is not difficult for you, but it is pleasant for me. I also have a second channel where the stories are no less interesting and fascinating. Go ahead and listen. The link will be in the description. And we're starting. I was at my favorite watering hole for about half an hour. The cocktail waitress had just served a second beer and took the empty one. I was here because I needed to think about something. Something just wasn't right at home, and I couldn't figure out why. As everyone knows, serious thinking is best done with alcohol. My wife Gloria's attitude has started to change over the last couple of months or so. When I tried to discuss it with her and ask what happened, she just shut me down. Our sex life has also plummeted. She started complaining about our finances quite often. I couldn't really understand it because I was making really good money. We had everything we needed, and there was still enough left to enjoy some of the wonderful things in life. With our investments and other assets, we had about $5 million. Everything was going well, but she acted like we were just fighting with each other. It's funny that the country club membership I gave her 6 months ago didn't seem to matter. Yes, I know what you're thinking. I've been thinking about it too. The most logical explanation is that she is having an affair and she is thinking of switching places. There were a couple of problems with that. First of all, we didn't have a prenuptial agreement. That would mean that I would be raped during the divorce. Secondly, I had no proof of her infidelity. Anyway, I had just taken a sip of my second beer when I saw her enter the bar. No, it wasn't my wife who was supposedly walking with the girls tonight. I had no idea who she was, but she was a real beauty. All the heads in the bar turned to her and watched as she took a quick look around and then headed straight for me. When she came to the booth where I was sitting, she just slid in front of me without even saying boo. She looked at me for a minute, then spoke. "Adam Colton?" I just nodded my head. The waitress quickly came over and took her order for a glass of white wine. "My name is Alyssa Holmes. I have a lot of information for you that I think you could use. I also have a suggestion for you on how best to use this information." "All right," I replied. "What will this information cost me?" She smiled. "It won't cost you a cent. In fact, if you accept my offer, it will even ensure that you retain more of your assets than you would otherwise receive." "Good. What information do you have?" "First of all, your wife is cheating on you. And how do you know that? Is there any evidence?" "I know that because she's cheating on you with my brother. I have photos, videos, audio, as well as notarized reviews about it. I'm ready to give it all to you." "Wow, you must really hate your brother if you throw him under the bus like that." Her smile lit up the entire bar. "Quite the opposite. I'm actually here on his behalf. He sent me to talk to her while she was busy with him. I'm confused. If he's stealing it from me, why would he try to help me? I mean, I've read all these stories about cheating wives, and in most of them, the wife catches the poor fool off guard so he can't prepare and fight back. Having warned me, I can start preparing things and moving assets to reduce the amount that the courts order me to pay her. Isn't that counterproductive for him?" "Usually, yes. This case is completely different. You see, we don't want you to insist on a divorce using this information yet. By all means, take the opportunity to move assets and do what you need to do. Just don't file for divorce. Don't even let her know that you suspect her of cheating. We will help with the divorce. We'll have her file, which you'll find almost everything in. How will you do it? God knows Gloria loves money. I can't imagine her just giving up half of our assets as well as significant maintenance payments." Her smile turned midnight into a bright sunny summer day. Damn, I probably would have died of radiation sickness if I had been exposed to her smile for a long time. "Good. There are a couple of things to keep in mind here. First of all, my brother is a very good man. When he started a relationship with your wife, he had no idea that she was married. She basically attacked him. Just 2 weeks ago, the background check came back and we found out that she was married. It took another week to carry out additional checks and get all the necessary information to make sure that she was not divorced or separated from her husband. This information also indicates that she just wants to bargain. You are quite rich, but we are much richer. I repeat, much richer. Our data shows that you have about $164 million. This includes the 1968 GTO, which you're going to buy for about $10,000 less than it actually costs." She saw the startled look on my face. "Yes, we have extremely detailed information. In our league, you have to be very careful who you're dealing with. We also found that you are a very decent and honest person. That's why we decided to go this way." "Good. It looks like you're putting me at a disadvantage because you have all this information about me, but I don't know anything about you. Yes, I understand. I told you my name. My brother's name is Brad Holmes. A quick internet search should provide enough background information about us to answer any questions. Also, feel free to hire a firm of RI to check our background. You can even send us a bill for it if you want. Good. Of course, I will need to check everything before I make any commitments. So, what kind of plan are we talking about? There's one more thing you need to know. Brad had already been married once. She was also a money lover. He caught her cheating. Fortunately, they had a prenuptial agreement with really harsh penalties for infidelity. In fact, she left with clothes on her back and what she could carry in 2 suitcases. Brad despises cheaters and gold diggers. He's usually a really nice guy, but he can be ruthless when he discovers someone is trying to take advantage of him. So he's going to be running it for the next few months. Eventually, he will convince her to file for divorce so that she can marry him. However, one of the conditions will be that she asks absolutely nothing from you. He'll convince her that she won't need any of your assets because my brother has over $500 million. In about 2 months, he will propose to her. She would have to admit to him that she was married. Judging by the email she sent to her friend, she's going to tell him that the 2 of you have been separated for a long time, but have never actually divorced. She's going to make you look like a bad guy and claim that you cheated on her throughout your marriage. You, of course, threaten that you will fight the divorce. My brother will convince her to give you everything so that the divorce goes quickly and they can get married. You get everything, she gets nothing. As soon as the final decision on the divorce is made, Brad will tell her about the lies she told him. He will tell her that he cannot trust a woman who has cheated on her husband. He would leave her and leave her with nothing. It seems that I really have nothing to lose, and everything can be gained here. Even if everything you're telling me is bullshit, I can still protect myself by hiding assets and preparing to divorce this scum. I need the information you have, and I would also like to meet with your brother. Since he apparently didn't know she was married, I have no complaints against him, so you don't have to worry about a physical reaction on my part. If he's as good a guy as you say, and if what you told me is true, maybe we can even become friends. That radiant smile appeared again. You're a good man, Adam Colton. I think you and Brad will get along just fine. With that, she finished her wine, got up and walked out the door. I would like to thank the Academy for this great honor. Yes, this did not happen. Nevertheless, the next 2 months were supposed to bring me an Oscar. I put just enough effort into making love to Gloria so that she wouldn't suspect anything. Of course, I've always been confused by this. I didn't mind. A couple of weeks later, I actually met Alyssa and Brad for a long lunch. I also managed to meet Alyssa for dinner a few times when Gloria was also somewhere else with Brad. Gloria and I have turned into platonic roommates rather than a married couple. Alyssa, I hate to do this, but I think we should step back for a while. I told her about it at dinner a little over a month after the first meeting. Really? But do we get along so well? Yes, that's the point. We're getting along too well right now. I'm not like Gloria. I'm a single man. I don't cheat on the woman I'm with. Of course, Gloria and I don't have a special relationship anymore, but she's still my wife. I just can't get into another relationship until our divorce is final. The problem here is that I'm developing real feelings for you. I can't compromise my morals by starting a relationship with a woman while I'm having an affair with another woman. Besides, I care about you so much that I don't want to ruin what we could have had by lowering myself to her level and entering into another relationship before my current marriage is completely over. Alyssa sighed heavily. I understand. You're a good man, Adam. I admire ethics and a sense of right and wrong. That's one of the things I admire most about you, and probably the main reason I find myself falling in love with you. To hell with Gloria. She's too stupid to figure it out anyway. Perfectly. We'll back off for a while, but I'll be damned if I'll wait any longer than I have to. Let's finish dinner, and then you're going to take me dancing. As soon as you drop me off at home, I'll call Brad and ask him to pull the trigger. It's a month earlier than we planned, but Gloria is too stupid to figure it out. Seriously? What kind of imbecile is she to leave such an amazing husband like you? Alyssa is an enthusiastic dancer. The movements her body made on the floor during the fast dances, the way she snuggled and rubbed against me during the slow dances. I'm surprised that I didn't get my underwear dirty a few times that night. Even though it was obvious that we were together, several men came to our table while we were taking a break to ask her to dance. It turned out to be funny. Are you some kind of jerk that your mom never taught anything to? Or are you just a jerk with a mania for mediocrity? First of all, I would never even think of dancing with a pig like you. Who doesn't even have the courtesy to ask the man I'm so obviously friends with if he'll let me dance with you? You waltzed in here like you think you're God's gift to humanity, when in fact you're just an arrogant asshole who probably couldn't find a female ahem with a map, GPS, and a Boy Scout guidebook. I bet you don't even know how to use that tiny organ you're hiding under those rolled-up socks in your pants. After this potential Lothario sneaked away, there were actually a couple of daredevils who came up and politely asked if I would let them dance with her. I replied that she could dance with them if she wished. Alyssa always objected, explaining that she was saving all her dancing just for me. Alyssa stole my soul when I walked her to the door that night. She turned around, put her hands on my cheeks and gave me a soul-stealing kiss. Her tongue entered my mouth and danced with mine. My soul was sucked out of my mouth. She replaced my soul with her own as the kiss deepened. It went on and on. I felt like all my vitality had been sucked out of me by that one passionate embrace. Eventually, it was over and we were both breathing heavily. "You have no idea how much I want to drag you inside with me," she snorted. "Probably about as much as I want to pick you up and carry you inside. However, it would be wrong, and I can't risk that we will regret it. Think about how much better it is for us to wait and do everything right. You and your damn morality." She smiled. "Why the hell would I fall in love with someone so damn noble?" "Alyssa, on the day when my official decree of divorce is issued, I will be kneeling at your doorstep, holding a ring in one hand and a signed marriage contract in the other. I'm not here for your money. Even if everything goes wrong and I have to give this cheater most of my assets, I will still have enough money of my own so that I won't need yours. I love you, Alyssa. That's all that matters to me. My ring size is 6.5. Don't worry about the prenup. I asked my lawyer to draft it 2 weeks ago. Just send me your lawyer's contact information and a copy will be sent to him." It happened a week later. No, Alyssa and I are not getting together. It was Friday night. I came home from work and found Gloria and Brad sitting on the couch. I noticed Brad's smirk and a barely perceptible nod to me. "Honey?" Gloria started. "We need to talk." Looking at the situation, I pretty much understood what was going on. It also helped that Alyssa warned me about this earlier in the day. The layout included Gloria and Brad sitting on the couch next to each other. There were 2 glasses and a half-empty bottle of wine on the coffee table. There was also a thick paper envelope on the coffee table. Yes, as expected. I walked over to the couch and held out my hand. "Hello, I'm Adam. I see that you drink wine, but I like craft beer more. I'm going to get myself a beer. Beer, or do you prefer wine? I'm glad to meet you, I'm Brad. Actually, I'd prefer a beer if you don't mind. Thank you," he replied. I came back a couple of minutes later with the beer I bought. Being a good host, I opened both of them right in front of their eyes so they could be sure that I hadn't touched them. Clicking the bottle caps, then taking a sip, we both sat down, he as before on the sofa and I in my deep armchair. "So," I began, "what do we need to talk about?" "All right, Adam," Gloria started. "This will probably come as a shock to you, but I want to get a divorce. I didn't want this to happen, but Brad and I just fell in love with each other. We are soulmates. I'm sorry about that, but our marriage really wasn't that good for a while, and then I met Brad. It just happened. Now is the moment when it's better for both of us to end this so that Brad and I can start building a new life together." She even managed to take a couple of sips and shed tears. It looks like I'm going to have some serious competition for the Oscar. She was good at playing the sad wife. "Well, Gloria, this is really a shock to me. Yes, we've had a few problems, but that's mainly because you've been shutting me out. I asked several times what was wrong and how I could help. You still haven't answered me. I've been trying to do more for you. I've tried to take you on more romantic dates, but you've always had other things to do. I brought you flowers and you just ignored them. When I tried to get close, you constantly pushed me away. You never once mentioned anything that I could do to help solve our problems. I even offered you a consultation, but you refused. You said Brad was your soulmate, but you used to say that I was your soulmate when we got married. If there was a problem in our marriage, you should have discussed it with me first so that we could work on it and fix it instead of dating and looking for another lover. Now, instead of working with your husband to fix our marriage, you're just overwhelming me with divorce papers. I'm not sure if we still can't fix it. No, Adam, it's too late for that. Here are the documents. I am very fair in the division of assets. Asset division? You lie and cheat on me by spending the money I bring home on yourself. And do you think you deserve to be paid for it? I work my ass off to give you a great life, and in return you cheat on me and leave me? That's bullshit. Good luck getting the desired divorce soon. If I have to pay you anything, it will be almost nothing. I'm hiring the most expensive legal team I can find, with the sole purpose of dragging this case out as long as possible, and pumping out as much money as possible so that when it finally ends in a couple of years, there's nothing left to pay your stinking ass. That's when Brad made his move. All right, Adam. Look, I'm sorry about this. When we first met, I didn't even know she was married. By the time I found out about it, we had already fallen madly in love with each other. It is clear that although you love Gloria, she no longer loves you. I understand your position here. The bottom line is that Gloria doesn't want to be married to you anymore. No matter how you struggle with it, as you said, the divorce will eventually take place. Fighting this, all you will do is give the lawyers most of your assets. Of course, this will reduce the amount you will need to pay her, but it will also lead to the fact that you will lose almost everything yourself. This is not necessary. Since we are planning to get married as soon as the divorce is final, you will not need to pay any spousal alimony. Besides, I'm a very rich man, so Gloria really won't need to take any of your assets. In fact, all she'll get from the divorce will be just a drop in the bucket compared to the wealth she'll get when she marries me. Look at this. You keep the house, your pension, all savings and investments, as well as half of what is in the current account. She leaves with half the money in her checking account, all her clothes, personal belongings, and a car. To be honest, she really won't need anything else after we get married. Good, I reluctantly agreed, except that she returns her wedding rings, as well as all the jewelry that I inherited from my family. I also want the expensive jewelry that we keep in the safe. I bought this on the assumption that we would eventually pass it on to our children and grandchildren as a family heirloom. Brad turned to Gloria. Remember, we discussed this. We've already hurt him enough with what we've already done. It's better to get this over with quickly so that we can get married and start our new life sooner. You're right, Brad. I won't need his money after we get married anyway. Let's get the new papers ready. With that, we toasted our agreement and they left. Now I know some of you out there will think I'm a heartless bastard who only left a couple dollars in a joint checking account. You would be wrong. It might make her suspicious. We usually tried to keep about $10,000 in the account. I left it alone. She had several designer dresses, expensive shoes, and other accessories. Most men don't realize this, but they don't give away little things at all when they ignore their wives' closets during a divorce. Gloria had almost $60,000 worth of clothes on the retail market. There is a pretty good market for high-quality used women's clothing in the online market. Of course, you can't get the full retail price, but you can get at least 50% to 75% of it. Her car was a year-old Lexus, which we paid for in cash. A week later, my lawyer and I met with them at her lawyer's office. Her lawyer stressed that he strongly advises his client to refrain from the proposed asset division. It was mostly 90% for me and 10% for Gloria. It doesn't matter. As soon as the divorce is final, Brad and I will get married. This will eliminate alimony, and I won't need any other assets anyway. I just want it to end as soon as possible so that I can move on with my life. We signed all the papers, and he asked his notary assistant to certify everything. Now it was just a 60-day waiting game until the final decree was issued. Meanwhile, Alyssa and I got to know each other much better. We spent most of our free time together. No, we didn't have anything in bed. God knows we both wanted this, and we've been close to it more than once. But we decided to wait until the final decision on divorce comes. Brad and Gloria also continued their relationship. She even moved in with him full-time. Brad, Alyssa, and I made and clarified our plans for the finale. The 60-day waiting period has passed. I received the final notification in the mail the day before. The monstrous engine purred as I idled into the parking lot in front of the mansion. I released the clutch, shifted the 4-speed gear to neutral, and pressed the parking brake. When I got out, I smoothed the lapels of my new tuxedo. I really needed to make a great impression. After all, I was now free of my cheating wife and about to enter the next stage of my life. I quickly patted my jacket to make sure that what I needed was safely hidden in the inside pocket. When I was done, I turned to a guy in his 20s who hurried over to me under the envious glances of his colleagues. She has a really tight grip. Be gentle and gentle with her, I advised as he respectfully climbed into my 1968 GTO. I've spent the last month trying to finish it. Now that I no longer had a wife spending all my money on stupid shit, I could afford to spend some cash on the things I really wanted. I had a smile from ear to ear as I walked up the steps and entered the mansion. It was supposed to be an epic night. Just before entering the open door, I caught a glimpse of the next arrival. It turned the night from just epic to absolutely legendary. I just couldn't help laughing. So, you're a little confused. This is not surprising. I attended the divorce party. It was held in honor of the final decision on the divorce between Gloria and me. I had an official invitation to attend. No, I wasn't going to ruin Gloria's party. It was all part of the plan. The party was at Dave's mansion. Although it was far from a surprise party, several surprises were expected during the evening. It was a very high-class event, the purpose of which was to introduce a new participant into Dave and Alyssa's social circle. Gloria has been looking forward to this event for the last 2 months, since planning began. No sooner had I crossed the threshold than Alyssa came up to me. Her left hand slipped through the crook of my right arm and we were off. You couldn't wipe the smile off my face with a nuclear weapon. She began to take me around the room and introduce me to influential people in society. We were halfway around the grand ballroom when it happened. "What the fuck is he doing here?" I heard a shrill scream from a very familiar voice. We were suddenly face to face with Gloria and Dave. Needless to say, Gloria wasn't too happy to see me at her special party. Not only was I the ex-husband she had just left, but it would be very embarrassing if her new man proposed to her in my presence so soon after our divorce. "I'm sorry, Gloria," Dave began, "but it seems my sister and your ex-husband have become something of a conversation piece." I couldn't refuse her boyfriend's invitation because the invitation actually said +1. "It doesn't matter," Gloria snorted. Then looking at me, she continued, "Just don't make a scene and don't spoil this wonderful evening for me." Gloria, I assure you that in honor of the several wonderful years we have spent together, I will behave in the best possible way. I understand how much this evening means to you, and I will do my best so that you can look back on this evening as the event that you started the rest of your life with. I've only loved you for years, Gloria. I will do everything in my power to catapult you right into the new life you deserve. Hey, is it my fault that she misinterpreted what I said? I wasn't lying, so her beaming smile indicated that she found my words benevolent. Was it my fault? It was 3 hours later. Dinner was finished and put away. The band has already played. There was a lot of dancing. I was in the middle of the dance floor with Alyssa. Of course, it was a complete setup. The couples around us delicately moved a little to the side to give us a place. It was the middle of the song. Suddenly, a spotlight fell on us. I did 2 quick spins, then got down on one knee with the ring in my hand. Alyssa, since you came into my life, you've taken over my every thought. You helped me deal with the most difficult situation I could think of. You are the first thought that comes to my mind when I wake up in the morning, and the last thought that comes to my mind before I fall asleep at night. I just can't imagine living the rest of my life without you. Will you honor me by becoming my wife? Of course, she said yes. Seriously, people, we planned all this in advance. I have already signed a prenuptial agreement. She even grabbed me right there on the dance floor and planted a very long, very passionate kiss on my lips. Everyone applauded. This led to Gloria getting even angrier because we drew attention to what was supposed to be her evening. The evening turned from her divorce party into an engagement party for Alyssa and me. Finally, a couple of hours later, she figured it out. "Brad, we were supposed to get married right after my divorce was final. Now it's final, so why did your sister just get engaged to my ex-husband? But you haven't even given me a ring yet. We haven't even started planning our wedding." Gloria ran into Brad right in the middle of the social gathering she so desperately wanted to be a part of. "Well, here's the thing, Gloria. I've gotten to know Adam pretty well over the last few months when he was dating my sister. He's a really great guy and we've become pretty good friends. It occurred to me that if you could so easily cheat on such a wonderful guy like him, who gave you nothing but love, what's to stop you from cheating on me? After all, you're the one who bumped into me. You even lied to me at the very beginning about being single. As soon as you had to admit that you were married, you created the impression that you were breaking up and heading for divorce anyway. After talking to Adam about the situation, I found out that you lied about that too. There is absolutely no reason for me to marry a serial liar and cheater like you. Actually, I'm breaking up with you. I'm giving you a week to find a new place to live before I throw all your shit out on the street. Now, if you'll excuse me, there are a couple of single ladies there that I think I'll go and talk to," Brad replied. Oh, she was really trying to fight. She returned with a vengeance to try to fix the divorce. The problem was that there was simply too much evidence against her, indicating that she had voluntarily and in fact insisted on this completely unfair division of assets. The judge did not treat her favorably when she returned and tried to amend the divorce, on the terms of which she had previously insisted. Alyssa and I really got married. Yes, an ironclad marriage contract was concluded. In the end, it was my concern. I asked my lawyer to write the draft. Alyssa thought it was too rude, but I already signed it. I really wasn't after her money. No, I wasn't in their class, but I had enough money of my own to take care of myself if something went wrong. I did send Gloria a nice wedding announcement. There was a beautiful picture of Alyssa and me on it. Gloria didn't come to our wedding. No, Gloria didn't become homeless. As a result, she began working at Taco Bell and living in a rundown studio apartment. Now she buys her clothes at Goodwill and her underwear at Walmart. In her attempt to switch places, she lost the cozy lifestyle she was used to. She's still a very attractive woman, but the news is spreading fast. She tried several more times to get one of the wealthy single men in the city, but they all knew her as a gold digger. I saw Gloria again about a year later. Alyssa and I were returning from dinner at a great Italian restaurant on the other side of town. "It looks like Gloria," Alyssa said, pointing to the corner of the street, and sure enough, when I looked back, Gloria was there. She was leaning against the building. Her hair was styled, but not immaculately. Her breasts were barely concealed by the two small spaghetti strap tops she was wearing. It was easy to see that she wasn't wearing a bra. The skirt was pulled low over her hips and was short enough to barely cover her bottom, and that was only if she stood straight. The bottom couple of centimeters of her ass were clearly visible. The garter straps holding the stockings were openly exposed under the hem of the skirt. I came to the conclusion that the reason she was leaning against the building was because walking in ankle boots on those 18-centimeter heels must be quite difficult. In fact, I was surprised that I could even recognize her with such bright makeup. Her lips were painted candy apple red. She was wearing thick black eyeshadow. I wasn't sure if it was just really thick mascara or if she had false eyelashes. In fact, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand what's going on here. Firstly, it was an area of the city that was known for a certain type of financial transactions. Secondly, there were several other women in similar clothes, and maybe some of them weren't actually women, strolling back and forth. The last clue was that while we were waiting for the light to turn green, another car turned right at the intersection and stopped at the curb in front of it. Gloria swaggered over as the passenger side window rolled down. She leaned over to the car and started talking to the driver and his passenger. After brief negotiations, the passenger door opened and the passenger got out of the car. Alice and I watched as the passenger seat was tilted forward, and Gloria and the man slid into the back seat of the car. When the door closed, the car drove away. Alice and I looked at each other and burst out laughing.